Hi, you're watching Michelle with Michelle's Life, and today's video is my March wrap-up. Get ready, I think it's going to be a long one, and at the end I'm going to include the RavenCycleReadAlong wrap-up as well, because I didn't want to create a separate video for that. So if you're not interested in that, just stop when I get to the end of my March wrap-up and then you don't have to watch it. And if you do want to watch it, yay! I want to start off this video also by announcing the winner of the giveaway that I was hosting in my March haul video. It is the end of the month, so I had to pick a winner, and that winner is Julie Zidel. Yay! I will have contacted you by the time that this video goes up, but everyone else, no. And be jealous. Julie won. On to the wrap up. So this month in March, I filmed a couple of videos and they were a little different than normal. Some of them were with some badass women, and I'll leave the links to their channels down below if you want to check them out. And we played a lot of games and it was awesome. And then I was also on other people's channels, which is super cool as well. And they were so much fun. I definitely recommend them. All the links will be down below. I also filmed my March haul / giveaway where I also included some signatures from the authors from CFS, and that was a lot of fun, and actually that video has more views on it than I think any of my other videos do, so that's pretty cool. Alright, into the books. So I don't physically own a lot of these because one was an audiobook from the library and several were comic books from the library, but overall I read 5 novels, 4 graphic novels, and 5 short stories. So let's get started. It's obviously going to be a long one. The first books that I read this month were part of the RavenCycleReadAlong that I was hosting with Jody over at That One Girl Who Reads. She has a blog, and I'll link it, as always, down below. And we had so much fun. On the Goodreads, everyone was talking, and we fan-casted, and it was just so much fun. So I'll put that part at the end. But anyway, of course I read the books. So I read in its entirety The Raven Boys, and I love this book even more the second time. You catch so many things that you didn't catch the first time, even though Steve Otter basically spells it out for you. I don't know how the reader doesn't catch it, but you don't. I didn't catch it, and a lot of the readers that read with us didn't as either. So very cool. So 5 stars, time and time again, 5 stars. Then I read Dream Thieves, and originally this was my favorite, but I found myself wanting to skip several chapters because they were really stressful and they give me a lot of anxiety. So I still love this book, but I am going to demote it from 5 stars to 4 stars. I still love Ronan. He's still my favorite character in this series, but I found myself wanting to skip a lot of like the Gansey Adams scenes and the Ronan Kavinsky scenes. They just kind of stressed me out and I didn't really enjoy them. And then lastly, I read Blue Lily Lily Blue, and I think this is my new favorite. So 5 stars. The next book that I read is Did You Ever Have a Family by Bill Clegg, and I listened to this on audiobook on my way to CFS, so I had a 6-hour drive there and a 6-hour drive back, so I was able to finish it. And I was unable to take notes, obviously, because I was driving, but I thoroughly enjoyed the book. I did film a review, but I bombed it and I wasn't proud of it, so I'm not going to post it, and I don't think I'm going to refilm it because just too much time has passed. And I don't feel like I could confidently talk about the book. So anyway, it is a literary fiction novel that came out in 2015 and actually made it onto the Man Booker long list. And it was just phenomenal. It is about a story of this small town in Connecticut and something tragic happens, and it's just the aftermath and how that affects the town, and you get to see all these different perspectives. One weird thing about the book is that sometimes it does change tenses because sometimes you're looking at a past story or a present story or a future story. So it does get a little confusing, and I've seen a couple of reviews say that, but as a person listening to the audiobook, it didn't really bother me too much because the narrator did just fine. Actually, the narrator was Bill Clegg himself, so that was really cool. I have to say there is a trigger warning for sexual abuse in this book. But it was only mentioned very briefly, so it didn't bother me as it normally does in other books. And it's just a really great depiction on how we affect each other's lives though we don't mean to, and how you have to be kind of careful about what you do and what you say and how you act towards people. And it was just a really beautiful book. The characters were so dynamic, and I definitely think that you can find someone in the book, and I think that's the most interesting part of this book is that normally in books you find yourself, and in this book I didn't find myself, but I found people that I knew in this book. And one of the characters, Lydia, is 100% my mother. So that was really eerie, and it was just really interesting. I've never really found a character that is my mom in a book that I've read. So I definitely recommend, if you want to check this book out, to do so. The audiobook is a fantastic way to access this book, and I'm pretty sure most libraries have it in audiobook format, so definitely check it out. I give this book 4.5 stars. The next book that I read was an ebook that I have, and that is The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery, and holy goddamn. I went into this book knowing that as a bibliophile I would love it. So that's how it was advertised to me. I didn't know much more about it other than that it was about a bookstore owner and that if you love books you would love this book. It kind of reminded me of, because I don't want to tell you too much about it, it kind of reminded me of a Hallmark movie, and that sounds bad, but it was like a Hallmark movie for book lovers. There were so many references to literary short stories that I read in college that it was just really enjoyable. Some children's books were mentioned that I read to my daughters, so that was also really cool. I was taking pictures of my Kindle and texting them to my husband like, oh my god, little P! It was phenomenal, and I definitely recommend, if you have it on your Kindle or at your library and you've been thinking about reading it, pick it up. It's a 5 out of 5 star read. It was really enjoyable. I've heard a couple people complain that it's like not the best written book in the world. So what? It was so much fun to read, and just the characters were really good, and I loved it. Go read it. The next books I have to talk about are graphic novels, and I read Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, and I enjoyed this. I thought the color spectrum was really interesting, how she just used like hues of like this greenish blue throughout, and it was good. It felt a little pretentious at times. It is semi-autobiographical, I think. It might be more than semi, but whatever. And it's about her father and his death and whether it was a suicide or not, and just shows you her development as a child and how her father affected that. And it's mostly just like her working through her memories and her childhood, and she even says in one part that most of this is from her diary and she wouldn't have been able to write this graphic novel without the use of her diary. But overall it was okay. I planned on reading the next one that was about her mother. I think it's called Are You My Mother? And that one is mostly done in red hues, so that was really cool. But I kind of lost interest and I gave this graphic novel 3 stars. The next graphic novel that I read is Lady Killer, and this was really enjoyable. It was done in an artistic style that's very almost like retro, you know, very pinched waist and stuff like that, and the color scheme was very retro, but I think that's what they were going for because she is a like 1950s 60s housewife, but she's also a hired assassin, so that was really interesting. I felt that I was talking to my friend Tammy about it, who also really loves graphic novels, and we both felt that the husband character was a little bit unrealistic. Like, he had no idea what was going on. It was just unbelievable, and as a mom I found it hard to believe that she was able to get all of this stuff done while being a mom. Like, what did you do with your kids? Yes, she supposedly left them with the mother-in-law, but like all the time? I don't know. It seemed unrealistic. But overall it was a really enjoyable reading experience, so I gave it 4 stars. The next graphic novel that I read is called Adrian and the Tree of Secrets, and it was okay. It really could have been done better. I saw that it was about a boy in Catholic school that who was gay, and I was like, yes please, this seems like a really interesting context for this graphic novel, and the artwork is really well done. I love that they chose a very limited color palette for it. It with such a cool premise, it could have been done better, so I gave that one 2 stars. The last graphic novel that I read for the month is Wicked and Divine Volume 3. I've really been enjoying the series. I do think that sometimes each volume is written a little more vaguely than it necessarily needs to be, but you can still follow along just fine and it's still interesting enough. This one wasn't my favorite. I still think my favorite was volume 2, but I still gave this one 4 stars. It was still enjoyable. Something that was a little weird was that there was about 4 different art styles, like 4 different artists contributed to each section almost, and I think that was because each time the art style changed, it was focused on a different character. I don't know if that's why it was done or not, but it was interesting to see the different art styles. I didn't like the first art style. All of the characters' eyes were very close together and it looked weird. But overall it was okay. It was 4 stars. Next, I read 5 short stories from A Tyranny of Petticoats. The first story that I read from this is Robin Tallies, which is actually the last story in the book, and that is The Whole World's Watching, and I gave that 4 stars. I didn't think it was Robin Tallies' strongest writing. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't, I don't know. I was expecting more, I guess. The next story that I read was the one written by Beth Revis, which was Pearls, and holy goddamn, I loved it. I don't know if you saw my last monthly favorites video where I talked about my favorite lipsticks are Kate, and they remind me of Kissing Kate Barlow from Holes, and I absolutely loved that book growing up. I still love the movie. It's just phenomenal. And the character in Pearls is basically Kate Barlow, and she is phenomenal. The next story that I read is by Jessica Spotswood, who actually put this collection together. So I picked that one up next, and that one is called Madeline's Choice. And I also didn't really love that one, so I gave it 3.5 stars. The next one I read was by Marissa Meyer, and that one is called Gold in the Roots of the Grass. And this one reminded me of Cat Winters. It had that paranormal aspect to it, and it was just really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I gave that one 5 stars. The last one that I read just last night is by Elizabeth Wine, and she wrote the Codename Verity duology, and her story was called The Color of the Sky, and that one was really, really good. I enjoyed that one, so I gave that one 4.5 stars as well. Just overall so far, I've really been enjoying this. I plan to pick it up in between my books next month and just read a short story in between books. It's definitely enjoyable. So that's it for the March wrap-up section of this. The next section is going to be my RavenCycle read-along wrap-up, so if you want to keep watching, do. So the RavenCycle read-along was from March 1st to the 20th, and each week we read one of the books, and at the end of each week we had a prize and a winner. Originally it was hosted over on Instagram, but no one participated, so we brought it over to Goodreads because we had lots of participants over there. And if you were interested in the prizes, you put your name, and then your name was chosen at random at the end of that week, and then we sent you out your prize. So I just wanted to congratulate the winners again for their winning the prizes and thank them for participating. So the first winner of the week of the Raven Boys read-along was Mary, and her Instagram account is Angel M Wings, and she won the Capes Water candle from Novelly Yours. I'll link the Novelly Yours. I'll link the Novelly Yours shop down below as well if you wanted to check that candle or other bookish candles out. The next winner of the Dream Thieves week read-along was Justine, and I'm not sure if she has any kind of channels or anything, but she won the candle from EVCO's Society 6 shop, and I'll link that shop down below as well. She has beautiful designs. Definitely check them out. And the last winner who won during the Blue Lily Lily Blue read-along week was Let's Book About It, and I'm so happy because she was so excited for this read-along and so active in participating, and she won the Happy Hello Art bookmarks of the Raven Boys, and they're so cute. And she recently received them, and she loves them, and she's using Noah currently, so very cool, very exciting. And then we also sent out the Raven Boy art print to a random participant, and that was Malia from her channel Book Paradise, so I'll link her channel down below as well. And the print was actually done by Maggie Stiefvater herself from her Society 6 shop, so I'll link that down below as well. I wanted to mention some blogs and a booktube channel where the participants posted their reviews that I really enjoyed. So first I want to start with Sophie from Miss Sophie Reads. She posted like a wrap-up for each book and a review for each book after she finished them, and they were really good. And she was rereading, I think, the first two, and then she read Blue Lily Lily Blue, and it was just really awesome that she participated. I love her channel, so that was really cool. I definitely recommend checking those videos out. And then two blogs that I really enjoyed were by Natalie and Melanie, so I will link their blogs down below because I don't remember their names, but I'll post their blog names here. Yeah, okay. We also fan casted some of the characters, and by we I think it was just a couple people posted, but I thought their choices were really good, so I'll just run through them really quick. So for Adam, we have Dave Franco. Ronan, we have Nicholas Hoult. The Gray Man, we have Tom Hardy. Moira, we have Mary Louise Parker, or I think her name was Moira something. For Neve, we have Gina Torres. For Orla, we have Tayona Paris. For Kala, we have Danielle Brooks. For Persephone, her name's kind of blurred out. My husband must have messed with it. I think her name is Tanya Shmalov. I'm not sure, but I'll post a picture. Noah is Evan Peters, and then that's it. My husband wrote Will Smith for Kanzi because this was on the fridge, but no, Will Smith does not look like Kanzi. Anyway, so that's it for the Raven Cycle read along wrap up and my March wrap up, and this video is huge. It's gonna be hard to edit. But anyway, I enjoyed this month in general, between Sia, meeting all these booktube people, finding new blogs, participating in Raven Cycle Read Along, giving out prizes. It was just a blast. It was really exciting. So I hope you all had a wonderful month in March as well. I would love to know what your favorite book of the month was. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye! So I just wanted to down below, links. Hi, welcome back. My name is Michelle and you're watching Michelle's Life. Today you'll notice I'm in a different location.